Hello everyone and welcome back to the Comfort Zone. Happy Sunday or whatever day of the week it is you're listening to this on, because not everyone's going to listen to it on a Sunday. This week we are going to be talking about life in your 20s, all of the difficulties, all of the challenges, all of the questions that you have, because it's a very confusing time. We know what that's like. I mean, we're not that far through our 20s. I'm 23, JC is
Putting you on the spot.
23,
Yep.
24 this year.
Wow, you know me so well.
Yeah, I know how old you are, I know your name, it's going great.
Do you know my birthday?
Yes, I do, but now I'm stressed. July the 21st.
Yeah.
Okay, oh my
January
god.
31st. I'm a true friend.
I have a really weird memory for dates and stuff, because the other day I was out with my friend Kate, and I literally turned to her, I was like, yeah, because when did you go travelling? You left on April 13th, didn't you? And she was like, sorry? And I was like, why do, like, I don't know why I remembered that. It was like, I
So
just had
specific.
that date in my head. I think it was because she went on the 13th, and I remember thinking, oh, I would never book a flight for the 13th, which is dumb. They were fine.
So you associated it to something else?
Yeah, so I think that's why it
Yeah.
stuck in my head. But I still remember people's birthdays who I was friends with when I was like 10.
I'm trying to think if I can remember anyone. I do remember some of like my old school friends. But then I never remember how old my parents are.
Really?
No, I don't know that. Obviously I know their birthdays, but I know my dad's now because it's like a significant age. But I never remember how old my mum is. I just know she was born in 1971. Then I have to do the maths to work out how old she is.
I just have
25.
always... my parents are the same age, so...
Oh, so it's easy for you then, eh?
Yeah, I only have to remember one. Anyways,
20s.
being in your 20s, but first of all...
Okay.
Wins and wobbles. Because we're going on a tangent again. What? Shocker.
We love tangents.
We love to tangent.
Me win of the week this week. Me win.
Why are you in like an old English musical? What are your wins and wobbles this week? No, what's your win? You don't need to give me both at once, just your win.
I'm overwhelmed. My win this week is that I've been prioritising the Comfort Zone Instagram silent plug. Not very silent because I just said it, but what's the word? Subtle.
Subtle.
Brain is not braining. Subtle plug. But yeah, I've been really focusing some energy on that page and nurturing it. It's honestly one of my favourite spaces. Like, I feel like it's just our little baby.
Yeah, I love it. And
Yeah.
whenever you put out a little clip or a little, just anything, I don't know, I love it. I can't believe that it's become a reality.
I know. It has, I can't lie, not fallen down the priority list, but I've just been so busy lately that it just hasn't been at the top. But I'm making time for it and I'm putting it at the top because it's something that I care about and want to put more energy into. So yeah, I've done that this week and I'm really proud and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going to keep ticking off those non-negotiables of getting 3 posts out a week for you guys because we love you.
Also, I will put the username on the screen, but it is at @thecomfortzone_pod on Instagram.
I wasn't just hitting you in the face there. I'm hoping that you're going to somehow magically put it above my hand.
There'll probably be like no effects on it and you're just underneath it.
What's your win?
Oh, hello.
Your
My
turn.
win this week. Oh, I actually do have a win, like a good win.
Yeah, every win is a good
No,
win.
I know, but like, you know, sometimes we sit here and we're like, my win's just the same thing that it's been every week. And like, that's fine because we're all about having normal lives and about not, you know, people's lives aren't as crazy as they always seem on social media. But it is nice to have something a little bit different. Mine this week is that I have been doing yoga again and it has been so helpful to me. I think I said last week that I'd been sitting like a shrimp in bed, or maybe a couple of weeks ago that I'd been sitting like a shrimp.
I recall.
I hadn't really stretched my body out in a while, so I started doing yoga. I started doing yoga again, and it felt so good. And did I already use this as a win before? Because I've literally
low-key rings a bell, but
now
I don't
I'm saying
know.
this, and I remember like talking. I literally was like, it's so nice to have something different that I've not said before. I'm sure this was a win like 2 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, bad for your memory, but good that you're still enjoying it. You carry on, girl.
It feels like a new thing to me. Clearly, I'm having a great time. No, my memory's actually terrible. Like, I've been having conversations in my head and then talking to people about this conversation we've had that's never happened because it was all in my head.
So the saying like you have a memory of a goldfish or of a sieve?
A bit of both. Bit of both.
But you remember my birthday, so that's all that matters. You
I
can
remember
forget
your
everything
birthday,
else.
yeah. And that was under pressure as well because I started sweating.
Pressure.
Pushing down on me. Sorry?
You said you started sweating.
I was like, is this like a remix? So yeah, I've been doing yoga, which I now think is not anything new or exciting because I've probably said that before.
But I love that for you.
It's been making me feel really good. And yesterday I was really anxious and I decided to do a like calming yoga for anxiety, and it really helped.
I love that.
And I was like, wow, look at me using coping skills and healthy coping mechanisms. Because I remember when I used to be in, like, probably when I was in CAMS as a teenager, and they'd be like, obviously, when you're having a mental breakdown and they're saying, have a cup of tea and take a bath, that is annoying. But I remember people raving about yoga and about moving your body in a gentle way and being like, I'm just not in the mood when I'm anxious. And I'm not, but I did it and it made me feel better. So
I feel inspired. The thing for me is that it just feels long. Like, it just feels like in the process I'm like, I can't do it right. Why am I doing this?
But if you're not doing it for anyone or in front of anyone.
Yeah.
You're literally just doing it to try and stretch out your body and make yourself feel
That's true. I mean, you did a few poses earlier and I could hear your back crack from down the hallway.
It was a crunch. It literally sounded like that. That was quite accurate.
That's me recreating the noise. You crack your back and I'm just going to be like...
Did anyone watch our TikTok where we were recreating each other's noises? Because...
I don't think so.
Well, it got some views. There was so many people that had no idea what we were doing. I also put it on my story with no context, which didn't help. But we were doing that game where you go out and, like, say I made this noise, then JC would recreate it.
He
just spat into the microphone. Stunning. But nobody knew what we were doing and they all thought we were having some kind of breakdown.
Yeah.
They were like, what is this?
Are you okay?
To them it just looked like I was like kicking some leaves and you were going and they just didn't understand it, and I've never felt more silly in my life.
It was fun though. I had a good time.
I had a good time.
No fear of judgment here.
No.
And
on that note, what is your wobble of the week?
Wobble. I can't remember what day it was, to be fair, but I had a day where I was getting stressed out about absolutely everything under the sun. I think I put something on my story. I'm trying to process right now.
I feel like it was a day where everything was
just going wrong.
Yeah.
And then I had a nap and I woke up from the nap and I realised, you know what? It's not that deep. I'm worrying about things that I can't control. Right now, me in this position can't change the outcome of anything. What's done is done. There's no point sitting here stressing about it. Easier said than done, I know. And sometimes there are bigger things that obviously you can't help worrying about, and it just is what it is. Like, they were very superficial things to worry about. So I'm not saying if you're going through something really horrible, just be like, it's what it is. But things like, I don't know, what went wrong?
You're like, something went wrong in my day.
I can't remember what it was. Good thing that I can't remember. It can't have been that bad. But yeah, I was just worrying about silly things and there was no need. So I had a nap. Naps cure everything. The end.
Agree. I've seen so much hate for naps recently.
Hate?
Yeah, I can't remember what I've seen, but I have seen, there was something I saw recently and people were saying, like, when you have a nap, maybe it was a TikTok and someone was like, having a nap is so bad because you always wake up feeling so much worse and you have like a massive headache, and all the comments were like, yeah, I hate naps. A nap will literally revive me.
It depends, because I feel that as well. I quite often wake up from a nap with my head pounding, feeling a little bit sick, hot and sweaty, disorientated.
You guys are not going, you're not like, you need to have a nap routine. You need to...
Like 20-minute?
No, well... I never nap for 20 minutes. What I'm saying is you need to get into short pajamas. If you get into bed in a jumper and jeans, you are going to wake up sweating and feeling horrible.
That's where I go wrong.
You need to, like, you're going for a nap. Just embrace the fact you're going for a nap. Put some PJs on. Get snuggly.
And fully embrace the nap.
And if you're sleeping in a jumper, you are going to sweat. If you put a t-shirt on and some shorts, you'll have a nice nap. And you won't wake up feeling like...
poo.
You've been baked in the oven. Yeah.
I think that's where I go wrong, because I try to convince myself that I don't need a nap, and I'm like, I'll take 10 minutes just to sit on the sofa and reset, and then I end up kind of dozing off, and that's when you sleep and feel like rubbish. I did it on Tuesday, and I sat on the sofa and I was watching something on TV and I was like, I need to stay awake. We had a very important delivery come in. I was like, I need to stay awake. And then I felt myself go and then I woke up and I was like disorientated, set an alarm. No, it was bad vibes. Me shouting at myself there. Bad vibes. But no, I do love a nap when it's intentional.
Didn't you miss your delivery?
Yeah, I did miss my delivery, but we don't talk about that.
Okay, that's an unspoken wobble. I'm sorry.
I woke up for one of them, but not the other one.
Oh.
So I don't know why.
Do you know Every delivered my ASOS parcel at ASOS? It was a gift, by the way.
Overconsumption core.
Overconsumption core. Don't come for me. Avery delivered my ASOS parcel at 10 to 11 last night.
Huh?
Just got an email with a picture of a parcel, like, in some rogue place. I couldn't figure out if it was at the front of my house, at the back of my house. Like, I had no idea. I literally went out in my pyjamas in front of the house and was, like, looking around for this parcel. And then I went in the garden, it was, like, in a plant.
What?
I was like, Avery, come on.
That's so funny.
Like, that would have been out there all night.
Yeah. And that's past the majority of people's bedtimes.
Yeah.
Very strange. Avery, sort it out.
Oh, every lady is dedicated, clearly.
Yeah, she's having a good time there.
Mm-hmm.
She's driving around with some tunes.
Yeah, she's like, where can I hide this parcel?
What's your wob?
What's my wob? Oh, I like that you've adopted wob.
Wob. I like the word wob.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying word to say.
Wob.
Wob.
Say it. Say it.
Say it. My wobble is one that I have mentioned many a time. Well, I mentioned it in a win kind of way. Don't think it's been a wobble yet.
Oh no.
It's having its moment. I am moving soon. Well, I don't want to jinx it. My
Touch
wobble
wood.
is that, touch wood, I'll move at some point. But my wobble is that the moving date has been pushed back again. And basically, I thought that I was going to be moving in like January before my birthday. I was planning a birthday party.
And it's March.
It's now March and no sign yet of a moving date. It's just taking ages, and the whole process of moving is long.
Yeah.
And I feel very ready to have my own space again and be an independent girl boss queen.
But it's not happening
But
yet.
it's just, I think it's the constant like, oh, we're nearly there. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, nearly. Oh, no, I just can't.
Like the build up and then the downfall. It's just getting a bit
It's just
intense.
getting a bit much.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I want that for you, and I know how bad you want it. So
Yeah.
not too much longer.
Not
Hopefully.
too much longer. Touch wood. Going back to 2 episodes ago when we were talking about magpies and stuff,
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. The American people in the comments who were like,
chuckle.
they were like, that is definitely a British thing. No one's saluting magpies over here. And I was just like,
Okay.
yeah, it is a bit weird. But then there were some Americans that said they saluted like crows or ravens or
Oh,
something.
really?
So-
Imagine having a wild raven in your garden.
I know, but magpie, there was a lot of comments. I say a lot. There was a couple comments from people saying that magpies don't exist in like parts of the US or they're part of the US. Maybe not even in the US at all. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of animals don't live worldwide.
Mm.
Like, we don't have wild tigers, for example.
No, that we don't. We don't have wild
No, we
tigers.
don't. Maybe magpies are a native British species.
I love the fact that you've just explained the concept of a native species. So you know the way that like we don't have wild tigers.
I've just fully mansplained like a magpie.
JC mansplaining.
Whoa.
Although I did used to think that we had wolves. Do we have wolves?
We did back in the day. Not my day.
I'm sure my cousin was studying them in Scotland or something.
I was going to say, I think they're in Scotland, but I don't think they're there anymore. I think it was like, maybe 100 years ago.
My cousin was not alive 100 years ago.
No.
So maybe I'm making that up. Anyway, moving on.
Let us know.
I don't think I would be listening to this podcast by this point.
I love this podcast. No hate.
No, I'm not hating on us. I'm just saying that, like, when we ramble, sometimes I think,
Are we okay?
are we all right? And, like, if
Yeah.
I was listening to this, say I was, like, driving somewhere, I can't drive, but hypothetically, if I could drive,
I'd be laughing my head off. I'd love it.
I think I'd just be like, what the hell is this?
Someone did say that. I have to address it, guys. I think someone randomly
We had a
stumbled.
hate comment.
I think they randomly stumbled across it on Spotify. I don't know how, and they were just like, what on earth am I listening to? I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, they were not happy about being in the
No.
comfort zone.
But
But we don't hold you at gunpoint. If you want to leave the comfort zone, you leave the comfort zone.
I love that you're here anyway.
We love having you here.
Yeah.
But the haters,
Bye.
bye. Anyway.
This is quite an important episode.
Yes, we actually say that every episode, I think. Lies. Sometimes we say it's a fun one.
Yeah, we had a fun one last week, I think. So then now, no, we didn't.
Babes, we were literally talking about eating disorders.
But we make it fun.
We make it fun in our own way, yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. Don't let me speak anymore. Take the mic away from me.
Take it away.
20s.
Where to start?
Yeah, tell me about it. Our 20s are confusing, frustrating.
Overwhelming.
The list, keep the list coming.
And you know what? I feel like the talk online about you're in your 20s, do this, this, and this. Like, you're in your 20s, these are the best years of your life. That makes it so much more overwhelming. I am
Yeah.
hyper aware that I'm in my 20s right now because everyone's always talking about how you should use your 20s for everyone has different opinions. You should either use your 20s for traveling, you should use it for starting a family young so that when you're 40 they're all off at uni and you don't have to worry about them, or hustling so that you can build a career and build a business and not worry. Everyone has different ideas of what you should be doing in your 20s, and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah, it's quite subjective. I mean, I guess it's what you kind of not expose yourself to, but what you consume. Because I can be sat here consuming so much travel content and want to live my 20s to the fullest, in air quotations, because, like we said, that puts so much pressure on your 20s, because every day you wake up thinking, I should be living this day to the fullest. I'm only this young once. I'm never going to be in my 20s again. I need to do this. I need to travel. I need to explore the world and whatever. But you can also consume content where it's like, you do want to set yourself up for the future, and this is a time where you should be working and planning your career, and I say it's what you consume. We can't really... What am I trying to say? I don't know. You can choose what you consume, but you also can't, because everyone's just throwing things at you left, right and centre.
I think you can't control your algorithm, but you can control the way you think about the content you're being shown. So you can say to yourself, I don't need to let this in, and I don't need to let this impact the way I'm thinking, because I'm on my own path. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
People will say that I need to be starting a 7-figure business, but I want to take things slow and just live a small, slow life.
And that's okay. I feel like that's where I get confused personally and a little bit overwhelmed, because I don't know, but I'm told that these years should be the years that I'm living my best life. But also, I don't enjoy a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't enjoy going out. I don't enjoy travelling. I mean, I've not really travelled. Maybe I would if I gave it the chance. But right now, I don't feel like I would really enjoy it that much. I like being busy, and I like working towards my future, which is just like my personal thing. So maybe I fall under the like grind in your 20s so you can have fun in your 30s category. But if that's me, then, and I'm happy with that, then that's fine. But that doesn't mean that someone else should feel like they have to follow down the same path with me, because this is not talk about me like specifically, but say someone else is ahead of them, or you feel like all of your friends are doing better than you and they're 10 steps ahead of you. Like, they've chosen to do that, and that's okay. You don't have to choose that as well. You can be very honest with yourself and very true to yourself and think, I'm going to do that in 10 years. Fine. I want to live my 20s how I want to live them. Yeah. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it fully makes sense. And when I think about even like my year group at school, there are girls who are engaged or getting married. There are girls who have kids. There are people who are still at uni. There are people who came out of school and started working straight away. There's people who did apprenticeships. There's people who, I don't know, have gone travelling. Everyone's doing something different, and nothing is right or nothing's wrong. Everyone is just doing their own thing, and it's really hard to remember that it's completely okay to be at a different point to your peers. But I think having that perspective is really good. And I personally, as someone who lived a very different life as a teenager to what my friends and the people in my year were doing, I still feel like I'm playing catch up a little bit sometimes, and at the same time I feel about 45. So
I get that. Before we move on, I just want to say one more thing. Well, we're told that the set life path is go to uni, come out of uni, straight into a job, work, have kids, family, retire. If you just take a moment to look at everyone around you in your life right now, people are doing, like you said, so many different things. Like, actually put it into your real world perspective. You have friends that are out in Australia and Bali and having the time of their lives. You have friends that are in a 9 to 5. You have friends that, like you said, are getting married and might have children. The amount of people that are following this set life path that we're taught is the right path is very minimal. So what makes that right? Do you know what I mean? Like, who has decided that that's right when you look around you and 10% of people are in that path? So like there's no right path, because it doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to get it off my chest. Carry on.
I fully agree, and I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on when you're in your 20s, even for people that aren't in a relationship. It's like, I need to get in a relationship because I need to settle down and I need to have a family and and dating and stuff is hard in your 20s. It's hard to navigate. It's hard to figure it out. Not everyone will find their person in their early 20s, but there just feels like this pressure to get with someone and settle down. And I mean, I don't really feel it because I'm very much of the mindset that things will happen for me when they happen and I can live my life in the way I want to live my life. But I know that there are a lot of people who are like, I'm single and I'm 25 and I don't know what to do with myself, like I'm never going to find someone. And it's like, you've got so much time and there's so many people you haven't met yet, there's so many things you haven't done, and it feels like time's running out, but you're not meant to be in serious mode as soon as you hit 30.
No, and your life's really just beginning. I mean, if you think about your teenage years and your adult years, your teenage years, you're in school, you're doing your homework, you're not really having much free time. Yeah, okay, they try and make you plan for your future, but you don't know what you want really. You're just kind of discovering who you are. People have different situations. I mean, you've had a very different experience during your teenage years, which I don't know if you want to dive into that a bit more. And in a minute, we can talk about kind of feeling like you're behind. But like, you don't actually start being an adult until you're 18, maybe even 19, maybe even 20.
But even 18, that doesn't feel adult. When I think
You're a
about
child.
18-year-olds, I'm like, you are children.
Yeah, exactly. So like, say you're 23 like we are, we've only really been an adult legally for 5 years. Mentally, probably like 2. Not even. I still feel like a kid sometimes. But
Well, you have to think about COVID as well. Like when I've said before, maybe not on this podcast, but people are often saying like, oh, the world just paused in COVID, and I don't feel like I aged in COVID. And I have that, but I spent probably 3 years before COVID hit out of school, away from people, unwell, in hospital, etc. And so I didn't have a normal life from, years before COVID. And so I feel like my life paused. And I kind of stopped aging, and then when I got better, it kind of started again. And I suddenly was like, I've not really mentally changed that much. I had in a lot of ways, but I hadn't had the life experiences that other people had had since I was like 15. And so I just had this really weird feeling, and I still feel it sometimes. I feel both 20 years more mature than people around me, but also so much younger, because I've never set foot in a club. When I turned 18, I was in hospital, and then it was COVID. So I literally never went clubbing, and by the time I could, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know what nights out are like. When people are talking about crazy things that happen on a night out, I'm like, haha, yeah, that would never happen to me because I've never been on a night out. I'm 23 and I don't want to go clubbing. And it's not because I'm against having fun. It's just that like that to me would be more overwhelming and more anxiety provoking. But I feel like I haven't lived a key part of my 20s because I've not been out getting drunk, clubbing. But everyone's just different. I've not done anything wrong.
No, it's a big chunk of time that's just kind of gone, which it's sad. How do you feel about that? Do you feel sad for like what you've quote unquote missed out on?
I get really sad.
Do you?
I sometimes feel, I think we were going to do an episode about this, but I sometimes say I feel like a level of grief for the years that I missed out on, because even, I mean, I didn't get to go to my prom. I didn't get that summer holiday that everyone got, the really long summer holiday. I didn't get that. I didn't get to start college with everyone. I didn't get to do my A-levels in the way everyone else did. I didn't get to have that going to uni experience at like age 18. Actually, my year group probably, that was COVID when that was happening. But still, there's just so much that I didn't get to experience in the way other people did, even before COVID hit. And I do get quite sad about it, because I know I can't get that time back. And I know that I'll never be 16, 17 again. And I'll never have that like freedom and that kind of... you can go clubbing when you're like 28, sure, but it
just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, it's more of a thing. Well, I wouldn't know, but like it's more of a thing that people do when they're like 18, 19, 20, right? And I never did that. I never got that. And you know what? Maybe it wouldn't have really been for me, but I never
got the chance to try.
The chance, yeah.
That makes me feel a bit emotional.
Sorry, it's a bit deep.
No, but don't say sorry. But I can just imagine how kind of hard that is to cope with, because it is just that unknown. Like, I can sit here and say to you, oh, you didn't miss out on anything anyway, but you just don't know. But it's done.
Yeah, that's the thing. That time has passed, and I won't get it back, so there's no point spending every day going, oh, I missed out on so much time. Like, I need to make the most of
the time you have now.
The time I have now. But that also feels overwhelming. And you know, when you get the trends that are like, there's someone that would kill to be in your position right now, make the most of every second.
Some of them are like, work when you're tired, do it when you're sad, do it. And I'm like,
oh yeah, the ones that are like, do it hungry, do it tired, do it sad. And it's like,
no.
when I'm feeling depressed or when my anxiety's bad, like, I can't make the most of every minute.
And then you feel guilty that you're wasting this precious time that someone else wishes they had, and then it makes you feel like you should be living for everyone else, and you should, it's a spiral.
There's a level of like, I am grateful for what I have. I am so grateful that I have these opportunities. I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head and everything. But then there's being mean to yourself because you have the opportunity to do things that other people can't, and you're not making the most of it. Like, if you are really struggling with depression and you can't get out of bed, reading there's someone lying in that was it. There's someone lying in a hospital bed right now that's like wishes they had the opportunities you had. Reading that would make me feel like a pag. A pile or a bag is what I was going with. A pile or a bag of shit.
Okay, I was wondering where the rest of it then. I just feel like a bag.
I just feel like, do you ever feel
like a plastic bag
drifting through the wind,
wanting to start again? But no, I feel that. You're not wasting time if you physically cannot do something. You're not wasting time if you're having a tired day. You're not wasting time if you're relaxing. Like, you only get to do life once. Be gentle with yourself.
Yeah. You're not wasting your 20s. There is no such thing as wasting time.
No.
You are spending time doing things which serve you in that moment. If you are not capable of doing certain things because of the position you're in right now, you need to spend that time healing or looking after yourself, because that is what's going to be more beneficial for you. You're not wasting time.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's gonna, if you don't spend time healing yourself, it's gonna end up eating into even more of your life. So I don't know, say you're on the verge of burnout, for example. This is very like surface level, but if you don't take a day or 2 days to fully give yourself rest, you're gonna be waking up every day tired, sluggish, hating everything you do because you didn't give yourself that permission to rest. So instead of spending a week, 2 weeks struggling through the day to day, you could have just given yourself a day or two to just rest, and you probably would have been fine. Very surface level. I mean, that obviously doesn't work for anxiety or depression, but you get what I mean.
But it's in some ways it does in my experience, because sometimes I'm so anxious because I'm just pushing myself too much, and I'm not giving myself that time to do something that's like slow and reminds me that like I'm okay and I'm calm. I'm just go, and that's when I get really overwhelmed and really burnt out. So I do think that it feels so difficult to slow down when everyone's basically telling you that time is slipping away from you. Like, you have a life ahead of you.
You have a long time ahead of you.
And age is just a number. But it's true. Like, I am 23, but I probably have the life experience of like a 50-year-old. And I also have, I mean, depending on what way you look at it, the life experience of like a 15-year-old, because I didn't do all of that stuff. So, you know, being 23,
doesn't
being
define
in your 20s,
anything.
no, it doesn't define anything. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just how many laps around the sun I've done.
Exactly. That quote of the ep for short is QOT. We established this in the last episode.
Yeah.
Because I just listened to it. That's why it's in the back of my head, you know.
She loves listening to the comfort zone.
I love listening to my own voice. Actually.
She skips out my part. She's like, this is my shit.
Back to reality. What about when you feel like all of your friends are ahead of you and you just constantly feel like you're behind? What is a thing you ask yourself? Give me a question. I know the answer, so I don't know why I'm asking you.
I don't know the answer.
Okay, just ask yourself, if you're sat there feeling like I'm behind. I'm sat here right now thinking I'm so behind. Behind what? What am I behind? Because me right now, me in my life, in my path, I can't physically be behind anything because I don't know what's ahead of me.
Whoa. You expected me to know that?
I expected you to read my mind.
You were like, you already know the answer. I do not.
She's intellectual, come on.
Clearly not.
I can imagine you're sitting there saying, I'm behind my friends that have really great jobs. I'm behind my friends that are in relationships. I'm behind this. But that's their lives. That's not your life. You don't know what's ahead of you because, okay, yeah, you can plan for the future and you can plan your education and but you don't actually know what's ahead of you. So you can't actually be behind anything.
Yeah, and there's no set life path anyway.
Exactly.
Like, why has it become a race?
You can wake up tomorrow and everything can change. Like, you can wake up tomorrow and think, I don't want to do this job anymore. You can wake up tomorrow and meet the love of your life. Like, you don't know what's around the corner. So you just can't be behind because, like you said, everyone's on their own path.
Also, you're not meant to follow the same life path as everyone else. Like, there are people doing things who I went to school with that I'm like, God, I would hate to do that.
Yeah.
But they love it. They thrive
Yeah.
in it. If I'd followed the same path as them, I'd be having a miserable time. But they're having a great time because they're doing what they love. Like, we're all meant to do different things. That is literally what makes the world function, is the fact that everybody does something different. And everyone has their roles in their life. And that's a wonderful thing. You don't need to be comparing yourself to everyone around you constantly, because also other people are comparing themselves to you. Like, I'm sure there are people, say there was someone who left school at 16. You can't do that legally. Say there was someone, can you?
If you have a job like set up for you, I think.
Oh. Well, let's say someone left school at the earliest age that you can leave school. And then let's say there's someone else who went to uni.
Yeah.
The person that went to uni might be looking at the person who's been working the job and think, God, they've saved up so much money. I wish that I wasn't in student debt. I wish that I hadn't, I'm so behind. I'm not going to be able to afford anything for ages because I chose to go to uni. And then the person who's working the job, who's saved the money or who's getting to go on holidays that this person who's in debt doesn't, might be looking at the person that's gone to uni and thinking, I wish I had a degree. I wish I'd had that uni experience. I wish that I'd lived in halls and I wish that I'd done all of that. And I wish that I had the doors open to me that uni opens. Like, you can always compare yourself to something. Always.
Yeah. And that just proves that there's no right or wrong. Because there's always someone else that will want what you have and you'll always want what someone else has. So you just have to be really honest with yourself and think, what do I want from life?
Yeah.
What do I want from... And don't even think about it as your 20s as a whole. Just think about it as this week. Or this day or this month, or like, it can be so overwhelming when you think of these 10 years running out and you haven't ticked off your bucket list and all of this stuff. Like,
if you look after your body right now, your 30s can just be an extended 20s.
Exactly. Like, 30s are actually still so young. You still haven't lived even half of your life yet.
Yeah. 30s, like, what is this whole cut-off with being in your 20s? Like, you don't have to turn 30 and figure everything out. You don't have to be settling down and having children at 30. Like, not everyone wants kids. Not everyone wants to settle down. Not everyone wants to do all of those things. And let's just take the panic out of it. Your time's not running out.
Exactly.
You have time.
And I think social media it makes it harder to understand that we're still so young, I think. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, like, I see so many people on social media now buying houses at 22, 23. That makes me feel like I'm behind. It feels like a lot of people are making those big commitments, and it makes you forget that buying a house at 23 or even in your 20s is not normal.
That's not realistic for most people.
Exactly. Like, I think it's a statistic. Don't quote me on this, but most people buy their first home in their 30s, 40s. Like, my parents haven't bought a home. They're still perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be trying to get on this, like, bandwagon of life at the earliest stage because it feels like everyone on social media is. We need, like, a little reality check, I think.
Yeah, you don't have to be going through a checklist of someone else's goals. Like, what matters to you? Do you care about settling down right now and about being on the property ladder and about having kids and about finding the love of your life right now? Like, what matters to you? When you think about going travelling versus building a career, staying at home and working, what is more attractive to you?
Yeah.
That's what you need to follow.
And it's not the wrong answer to just say, I like going for lunch on a weekend and walking around the shops and coming home and chilling in front of the TV. That's not a wrong answer. That doesn't make you behind or lazy, or like, that's just what you enjoy doing, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's your life. If you're living to everyone else's rules and to everyone else's path that they're on, you're not going to be happy.
Also, with what I just said about, like, what's more attractive to you, that's what you need to be doing. We also need to acknowledge that the way finances work and the way the economy is, it's not as easy as just being like, I feel like doing this, so I'm going to do it. Like, that is
true.
The people that can afford to not work for months and months and months and go travelling or be skiing with their friends or whatever. What gets you there? Money gets you there. And obviously, a lot of those people will have worked for months to save up money to go travelling, but there is also the fact that for a lot of people it's just not achievable and it's not a viable thing for them to pay for rent, go travelling, also somehow have an income. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And if financially you can't do the things that you want to do right now in your 20s, there is time. Like, I think it can feel really stressful for people who want to be, they're the sort of people that have like a big bucket list and they want to go traveling, but they don't have the money to do it. It might seem like everyone is going traveling and everyone can just afford it and everyone can go on luxury holidays all the time, but not everyone has the same starting point.
Yeah.
And not everyone has the same opportunities, and just because it's worked out that way for someone else, you don't need to feel bad about not being able to do it, and you don't have to do it in your 20s. Like, the time will come, you can make your dreams happen, and you can make the things you want to do happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's very easy to even compare yourself financially to other people your age, but you have to remember that you don't know what's behind all of that. You don't know if that person that's traveling has got inheritance.
Probably.
Or maybe they don't have a car and they don't drive and that's how they can afford it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That can be really hard to deal with, I think. It is just crap, honestly, that, like, say there is someone that really wants to go travelling and they just can't. That's just hard to accept. And I mean, I don't know, it's a tricky one to deal with, because I can say, like, oh, you can use that as motivation to work hard, but, like, sometimes it doesn't work like that. Like, people are working hard, but they just don't get the same pay or the same money or the same opportunities. Like, people can be working their absolute butts off. My dad used to work from 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock every single day, but he hasn't left the country in 20 years. He doesn't own a house. Like, working hard does not equate to money. So, like, even if you're working yourself into the ground and you're constantly like, I should be doing more, I should be doing more, I should be doing more, it's not your fault if you're not getting the same outcomes as other people. Like, I don't know, life just works in weird ways, because I can wake up tomorrow and think I'm going to work from 6 o'clock till 10 p.m. every single night. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to give myself a break. I want to go travelling next year. I need to work my ass off to afford this. But I might not get the same thing at the end of the day, and then I'm just burning myself out for nothing. I don't know. I just think life is very unfair, and I think some people work so hard, like we've spoken about it before. People in the NHS, like care workers, work so hard, but they just don't get the same money at the end of the day, so they can't go travelling, they can't book time off, and like I don't know, life is just so difficult, because at the end of the day we all need money to live. Money is given to the wrong people.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is born with a different level of privilege, and you can't ignore that. And I think it's very easy for people to be like, if you work hard, your life could look like this.
But sometimes it doesn't work like that, because you've been dealt different cards.
Sometimes it's about who you know, not what you know. Literally, like that is a very true quote. And the wealth disparity in the UK is just insane. Like, it's not everyone has the same opportunities, and I think when you're in your 20s, coming to that realization can be really
it feels like people are just given the things that you want, and it can just feel very unfair.
Well,
It's just hard for me to even like think about it now, because I'm like, part of me wants to say that's just how the world works, is what it is, like, but also it is unfair. Like, it's just unfair, and that's okay to get angry about it.
I mean, we're just two people. We can't change
the world.
Yeah. But it's when I think back to, like, because we both went to state schools.
Yeah. No, I actually went to private school.
Oh, that's great, sweetie. We both went to state schools, and you're sold this idea, or you're taught this idea from such a young age, that the harder you work, the better you do in your exams, and the more effort you put in, the better a life you'll have. Yeah. And I just think it's really interesting when you've been surrounded by state school people. I don't know why this is getting really like financial, but growing up being surrounded only by state school people, and then going out into the world and meeting people from all different backgrounds, and then suddenly realising that actually the stuff that you've been told that you have to work really, really hard for is some other people's just like normal. Like, it's just that it's just given to them.
They're just handed it on a plate.
Yeah, they just expect it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you've been surrounded by people in the same sort of, like, I don't know, class as you.
I don't even know what to call it, honestly.
I did sociology, but
hello.
Sorry to let the sociologists down, because I actually don't know. But yeah, it's just really interesting, the mindset of like, you need to work for a good life, whereas to some people it's like, well, you're just gonna have a good life either way.
Yeah.
Or like, I'll inherit my dad's business and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Which can make you feel so behind when like you're literally not behind. People just are born ahead.
Yeah. But that perspective is so important. Like, if you are sat here comparing yourself to people on social media, to influencers, to whatever,
they started 20 million steps ahead of you. So it's going to take you longer to get there. Yeah. What was you going to say?
I was going to say the same thing. They probably were dealt different cards.
Yeah.
And you can't be blaming yourself for that. And it just does suck. Like, things just should be more equal.
Yeah.
Things should be better.
If we could change it, we would. But
if I was the Prime Minister, everyone would have equal house. They would be paid for the jobs that they're doing, instead of it being
the opposite.
weirdly underpaid and weirdly overpaid.
Yeah.
Depending, like, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's not the aim of this episode.
No, but it's so important to address because it is just crap. Like, and it's okay to get angry about it. And that's the whole reason that we just feel behind 24/7, because everything's just unfair. It also does feel quite heavy to speak about because there's no resolution. Like,
yeah,
we can't change it, so we just have to get on with it. But in terms of getting on with it, yeah, you just have to focus on the small things. I think just focus on what you want, what makes you happy. It's so difficult because, like, I can sit here and say now, choose a career that you want to, choose a career you enjoy, and if you don't like your job, quit it and find a new one. But, like, that also doesn't work because you need a job to have money to afford life. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to take the only job you can get. And that can be frustrating because, I don't know, my mum works behind the till in a shop, and I'm sure that wasn't her dream growing up. Sure, she doesn't enjoy that, but she has to do it to provide for our family. And yeah, someone can come up to her now and say, quit your job because you're not happy and find a job that you enjoy. But how are you meant to find a job that you enjoy when, one, there might not be a job that you enjoy, you just have to do a job that you can do to earn money, or two, the process of you finding a job that you enjoy is going to take 10-20 years. How are you meant to live during that time without money?
But the whole thing of, like, don't live to work, work to live, I feel like that is so important because obviously we spend so much time at work. Like, humans just do. They spend so much time at their desks, at their jobs, in the office. But actually, it's about what you're doing outside of that time. And, like, if you can fill your weekends with things that you enjoy, it doesn't have to be going on holidays. It doesn't have to be seeing the world while you're in your 20s. But if you can fill your spare time with things that really fill your cup up and that you enjoy and that make you happy, I feel like that is... It kind of sucks because you get 2 days a week. And the rest of it is, you know... slaving away working for some big corporation, or I don't know what everyone's job is. But I do feel like we live in the society we live in, and
you just have to make the best out of it.
Yeah, and just know that you're not failing. No. You're not doing anything wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with being the sort of person that would rather stay in and play board games with their friends than go out clubbing. Me. Or there's nothing wrong with coming home from work and just wanting to, like, lie in bed and watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Or wanting to just have a quiet weekend and maybe go for a little stroll around the block, order a takeaway pizza.
Dreamy.
Chill in front of the TV. Like, there's nothing wrong with living the way that you want to live.
And also, like, there's so much pressure online about always striving for more. It's okay if you're happy in your 9 to 5 and you're happy with your evenings and having free time on weekends. Like, that's okay. You don't have to constantly be striving for more and striving to leave your 9 to 5 and striving to have more and more free time when it feels like everyone's just constantly in control. Like, it's okay if you're happy to just settle. Like, it's your life.
Yeah. There's no such thing as wasting your 20s, and there's no such thing as doing it wrong. However you want to live your life, however you can live your life, whatever makes you happy, that is the right thing. Okay, before we move on to people's questions, I did just want to touch on the whole feeling more mature than people your age, not feel like... I don't know if I feel like I'm in my 20s. Maybe I do.
Who defines what feeling like what is feeling like your 20s? Is that feeling young? Is that feeling old? Like, 20s are just your 20s. Because
sometimes I'm around people my age and I'm like, oh my God, I literally am so old. Like, I'm the mum friend. I'm the one that thinks about things like I'm a middle-aged woman. Like, JC's calling me a boomer all the time because I just say things like a boomer. I just act like a boomer. And that is just how I am. And sometimes, like, throughout my life and throughout the past couple of years, there have been times where I felt really out of place because I've been like, I don't relate to all this, like, down with the kids coolness. And it's like, I literally am one of you. Like, I am
Who does that?
Peace and pout.
Boomer. No, I'm joking.
But it's literally I'll be the same age as someone, and I'm like, how are you so young and hip?
And cool and fresh.
But I think it's because what I went through when I was a teenager just mentally aged me. Like, there's no way I could be young and free and cool and... I was going to say hip, which is...
so not hip.
Down with the kids. But, like, that trauma and stuff changes you, and you're not broken because you feel older than the people around you. You're also not an outcast because of that. Like, I just don't want people to feel like they're weird for it, because I feel that way. And sometimes with this podcast, like, there's not, like, advice we can give you. We just want you to feel less alone. And this is one of those moments right now. Like, I am quite often intimidated by people my age because I'm like, I think that I just have a different way of working and my brain just works differently. I don't enjoy the same things. I don't want to go out and get drunk. I don't want to go clubbing. Like, and that's not me being some kind of pick me, air quotations, or like, I'm just so advanced and like, I just prioritize like health. Like, it's nothing to do with that. That's
just not what you enjoy, and that's okay.
No, I lean towards a more grandma way of life, and I'm okay with that. Grandma energy. I just need my knitting needles and the chase, and I'll be there.
Catchphrase is my go-to.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched Catchphrase. Sorry.
We're watching that later. Okay. Anyway, yeah, everything you've just said, I feel like that's very important for everyone listening to this right now, because
Because who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can add to that because you worded it so eloquently.
Thank you.
We were going to transition into our What's on Your Mind section of this podcast, but we have read through all of the questions that you've ever so kindly submitted, and I feel like we've answered them all. A lot of them were on the lines of what to do if you feel behind in your 20s, trying to think of what the other one said, like, oh, am I wasting my 20s by working? We've kind of addressed that, like, no, you're not wasting your 20s. If you want to work, you want to work. If you want to live your life, go for it. You can work when you're 30.
There's no right path.
There's no right path. Exactly.
For everyone.
But yeah, if there's anything you want to ask more specifically, if there's anything we didn't cover that you want to find out more about and have our big sister advice on, please let us know in the comments below. We will do our very best to answer your questions. And yeah, I guess from two girls in their early 20s, we just want you to know that it's okay to still be navigating life and understanding life and figuring out who you are and what you want to do. You're not behind. There's never anything that you can be behind because this is your life, not anyone else's life. So just take it easy. Give yourself some, what's the word? Grace. Give yourself some grace and understand that you're literally a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old adult, and it's okay to not understand everything. Because we don't get taught this stuff as well.
Nobody teaches you how to do life. Nobody teaches you at school how to become an adult. And I don't even know. I'm clearly not adulting very well because I can't think of a single thing.
But have you seen those posts where it's like, this is your mum's first time living?
Yeah.
Sorry to end this on an emotional note. But it's the fact that, yeah, your mum's 40, 50. She's still figuring out life. She's still figuring out how to do her 40s, 50s. She's still going to be figuring out how to do her 70s, 80s. Like, it's everyone's first time living. You're still learning, and that's okay.
At no point are you meant to have it all figured out. Even if you're a parent, you're not meant to have it all figured out. How are you meant to have it all figured out?
When you haven't done it before.
Yeah, nobody just implants things into your brain.
Yeah.
You have to figure things out. You have to learn.
You have to make mistakes.
Yeah, and life is just a journey of that. Life is a journey of making mistakes, figuring things out. JC putting her hand up.
Life is a highway.
I'm gonna ride it all night long. Are we gonna get copyrighted?
That was just so good.
Katy Perry in the DMs and whoever. Who's that song by?
No clue.
We sung Firework earlier. Let us know if you want a full cover. Why are you laughing? You're not up for that.
You can sing it for me. I'll play the guitar for you. The Comfort Zone album coming out soon.
Songs from the Comfort Zone.
The Comfort Zone, the album.
Okay, why'd you just cut my album title out?
I didn't like it actually. You did it wrong.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Same. We're going to go and eat a lasagna now.
I can't wait.
This is your sign. Go get a snack. Go get a sweet treat. Go hydrate.
Yep.
Nourish.
Enjoy your Sunday evening, Monday morning. A lot of people listen on like their way to school.
I was just imagining us naming every day of the week then.
Tuesday afternoon.
Just to make everyone
Wednesday
feel heard.
Mid-morning. Thursday night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You do you, boo. It's your life.
It's your life. Listen when you want. Or don't at all. Up to you.
Okay, goodbye. I can't wait to eat. Do you know it's going to take 45 minutes in the oven?
That's not funny. I'm not enjoying that. Go get the lasagna on.
Okay.
Now.
I'm on my way, Mum.
Bye.
Bye.